Hey guys, welcome to Kayak Fishing Obsessed. I'm pretty excited about this. I'm going to call it the KFO show. I'm your host Darren from Wendell Fishing. Today I got some goods for you guys. We are going to be talking kayak fishing river smallies with another YouTuber, influencer. I despise that word. I feel like it's something dirty about being an influencer. I don't know why. Content creator. We'll go with that. And lover of fishing, Itchn2Fish. Eric Grist is joining us today. We're going to walk through how he catches them. We're going to talk smallies, lure to use, what to look out for, and more. So hopefully we all can learn something and level up our fishing game. This is episode 1 of season 1. So this is going to be the best live show I have ever done. And as my wife has also said, it's also going to be the worst live show you've ever done. So we're going to go with it. I'm used to creating, I created hundreds of videos where I can edit them. This is the one take Jake. So we're going to hop in here. If you have a question, head over to the little comments page. If you have a question, make sure to type in question in really large letters so I can reference that later whenever we have some time to answer those questions. I want this to be an interactive show with everybody. So but let me introduce my guest here. But let me know in the comments really quick if you're watching. What is your personal best river bass? So go ahead and throw that in the comments. What's the poundage on that bad boy? As I introduce our guest, Eric Grist. Eric comes to us from Arkansas. 220 videos on YouTube. Man, that is a lot of videos. Tip my hat to you. He's a dad. He's a husband. He has a full-time career that it's not kayak fishing. And so, Eric, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, appreciate you. How y'all doing? I had to bring my Arkansas swing to the party here.
I like that twang. Look, lost in tackle. His 0. Catch any river fish.
Is that a 0 pounder?
0 pounder. Hey, everyone's got a 0 pounder.
You got to start somewhere, you know.
So I want to hear your story. Why did you start a YouTube channel? When did you start it? And kind of like, I'm curious. Let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I was a kayaker at first. Fisherman just came on later. So, I bought my first kayak. It was a Pelican Matrix. And shortly, like maybe one trip into that Pelican Matrix, I knew that was not the kayak for me. I was afraid of actually passing wind and capsizing in that kayak. I mean, it was that tippy. So I took that baby back and got an Old Town Vapor. That was my first official kayak that I loved. And when I got that kayak, I just started hitting all the creeks and rivers, just going out there for the rapids. I was all about having a good time and going with the flow of the river and hitting huge rapids going over the side of your head, and all that. I didn't have the right gear. I didn't have the right kayak for that. But, man, I was just out there enjoying life. And then I came up to a lot of little holes. I was like, man, I bet there's some good fish in these holes. So then I just started bringing along a fishing pole, just a little cheap Walmart Abu Garcia fishing setup, maybe $30 tops.
Come on now.
Well, I didn't know anything about the line, the baits, but, I was out there having a good time, and
how long ago was this?
This was about 6 years ago.
Okay.
When I really started. So about 2 years into that, some of my friends that went with me, dude, I can't go with you all the time. I'd love to see what you catch and all that. So I started posting pictures on social media. And then they would say, hey, man, start making some YouTube videos. I was like, okay, sure. And so that's where it kind of began. People encouraged me around me, like my, family, mainly, my aunts, uncles. My uncle's a huge fisherman. He's got a Ranger boat down in Louisiana. And he's like, man, I'd love to watch you and see what you're catching. I'm like, sure, So that's where it all began. But, man, I'll tell you what, the Old Town Vapor was just one of my favorites starting kayak. And then from there, which
Tyler's with you. I don't think I've ever even heard of the Old Town Vapor.
Man, it's like a good starter kayak to sit in. That kind of turns a lot of people away. but it's lightweight. You can throw it over your shoulder and walk down huge 45-degree bankments. Throw it in anywhere. Good pond, kayak and all that. So that's what I started out with, about $400. $350 is what I paid for it, but it's a little higher now, of course. But man, I put a trolling motor on that. I got serious. So now I got like $1,000 into this $300 kayak. I was like, what am I doing? I look like an idiot out here. So then I went ahead and updated and upgraded to different kayaks and stuff. So that's kind of where it began for me.
Yeah. I was watching some of your videos, and man, you're not only catching river smallies, but you're smashing what you would call, so watch some of your videos, some mondos.
Oh yeah, my mondo is like a 4-pounder.
Hey, you got a 4-1 on the video I saw. That thing's a beast.
Yeah.
But what I really liked is I watched the video. I actually think you're highlighting it on your Itchn2Fish YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
It was your Tennessee kayak fishing overnight trip with your
Yeah.
pops. But really quick, I have some people asking me
Yeah,
here.
absolutely.
And what he asked me, hey, how my father's doing? So my dad had open heart surgery today,
Oh, okay.
and I don't have an update. So all of you have been praying for that. Thank you so much. So far, so good. So no news is good news. But Keith, thank you for asking about that. But back to your dad. What are you doing in Tennessee? And man, tell me about that trip.
Well, that trip, actually, one of the comments below, Tyler, the Old Town Vapor comment, he was actually on that trip with me in Tennessee. Now, my dad and I, we go on a lot of trips together, but he actually invited me, I guess it would be the west side of Tennessee, to come out, because it's pretty close to me, that west side. Being from Arkansas, it's only a 5-hour trip. We went to a secret river and we smashed them. He caught a nice one, so definitely check out his channel. But yeah, my dad, he's a disabled veteran, and so I'm just trying to get him active. And he's had 10 knee surgeries, so he's pretty limited lower body. So, but this is a great way we can bond together and make some awesome memories. Because funny story, growing up, he was a big fisherman, but I hated fishing. The lake I grew up on, I nicknamed the Dead Sea. Like, we're just out there fishing for hours. This was my memories. Didn't catch a thing, and then I finally just jumped in the water and started swimming. I was like, I'm over this, So all this years he invested in me to start fishing, and then now I'm loving it now because I'm getting older and slower, and now I'm enjoying it more. So I'm kind of catching up those years back with him. So he goes a lot with me, and I'm sure you notice he's capsized several times. It's kind of a learning curve with him, but but he's getting better. So it's awesome. So
I got a story. Not a lot of people know this. I don't share it in my videos, but back in 2011, I think it was 2011, somewhere around that time frame, I did a swim across Lake Michigan. It was 50.6 nonstop miles from coast to coast. Some of you guys probably I don't believe you, but look it up.
Crazy.
Nonetheless, I had a sea kayaker next to me all the time. I couldn't touch a boat, but he was there. And it was my buddy Jake. And he really hasn't been in a sea kayak. It's Lake Michigan. There's 5-foot waves, and he capsized this thing. And his wedding ring goes to the bottom
because it was so cold.
Lake.
It just shrunk.
He lost forever, and so I kind of felt bad about that. But here, I got a question from Lost and Tackle. Did I hear you correctly? You've only been fishing for 6 years?
Yes. I've only been posting YouTube videos for, I guess, 3 years, 2.5 to 3 years. I've just kind of started posting, about a few years ago. So I'm kind of new to YouTube still, but obviously my cringy editing skills is pretty rough. But anyways, we have a good time. But yeah, I'm still pretty new to fishing, and probably similar to your situation. The more you go, the more you learn, and so that's why I love river fishing. I've learned so much from casting lures at different areas on the river, eddies and, break lines and all that, and just learned so much. Now I'm in love with fishing and kayaking, and it's now just, half the adventure. So,
yeah.
But go ahead. I was going to say, I was watching your intro, and you just mentioned about, are you an ultra marathoner? I mean, you do some major miles. Didn't you run across the United States? Is that what I saw in the intro, dude?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
Ironically, man. I write that stuff, and no one ever asks about it except for you right now. But yeah, back in 2015, 100 marathons in 100 days from coast to coast.
Man.
So
and you did Ironman too, didn't you?
Did Ironman. I've hiked the Appalachian Trail, up Kilimanjaro a few times. These are all crazy. That was like a previous life to fishing. So I used to be like just hardcore long distance endurance athlete, and I use those for fundraisings for a lot of the ministries I was working for.
Right, dude, that's incredible. I'm sure you
Now,
raise so much.
yeah, hey, check this out. This is my wife. She's upstairs right now. She has her own YouTube channel, Wendell Woodwork. She's a woodworker. He traded his running shoes for fishing poles.
What a trader!
Anybody want to guess how which one what was more expensive? Yeah. We're not going to talk. You cannot ask the question how much I spent.
Well, what brand did you go with? Brooks? What was your all-time?
I was actually sponsored by a company called Karhu, which no one knows about.
With them, yeah.
No, it's some Swedish company. And check this out. I ran across the country in their shoes. I didn't do anything with that story. Nothing.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail us there, but
no, there's no derailing. This is just fun. We're getting to know each other. Getting to know. But here, tell me, break down river fishing for me. I've river fished. I go to Pennsylvania and I trout fish and smallie fish, but I wade in, right?
Yeah.
And I look. Basically, I just look for the holes.
Right.
So when I go there, I'm like, oh, the river's down. It's go time.
Yeah.
Now I just got to find all these holes. And some of the places I go, I mean, some of the holes are artificial only because that's where they stock them. And so you got to go artificial. But outside of that, I use crawdads. I just did a video on that. If you guys want to know,
I just saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll talk about lures here in a second, but break down river fishing for us. Like what's your go-to lures? What are you looking for? Give us some tips and tricks because I'm sure I'll go someday. Yeah. But I do also know that my pedal power kayak is probably not going to go too well in the river.
I saw you do a video recently where it was like a foot deep and, you had your pedal drive up and you were paddling the whole time until you finally dropped it and you got some weeds around the prop, so that's just part of it. I had a
story of my life.
Well, the first thing a lot of people ask me about, okay, so if you're doing a river, how do you, port as far as put in and then take out downstream and all that. So the first thing I look for if I'm going to any stream here in Arkansas or surrounding states is I'll Google search that creek or river. Is there available shuttle services? Like there might be a mom and pop store where he's just doing it on the side. He's got a daytime job and he'll just throw me in there. So I look first for that. Like, can I float this 5 to 6 miles? And if so, if there is, I'll reach out to them like, hey, I'm just doing a day trip. Can you, put me in? And then usually what they do is they'll meet me at the put in place.
Yep.
And then they'll drive my truck downstream. They'll bring another driver with them. So you're doing a lot of trust, exercises with that whole, they're usually great people. So that's the first thing I look for. If it's a new stream, can I get a shuttle service? Second of all, how many miles? Right now time has changed. We're losing daylight. So during the summer, I do a lot of 10-mile, 12, 14-mile floats. You don't have that daylight anymore. So you got to make sure you get back to your takeout point or downstream before it gets dark on you. I've done that once. And true story, dude, I've never been so scared in my life. I was going through rapids, horrible stuff, trying to dodge rocks, bumping tons of rocks. And I had a little headlight. Luckily, I had a headlight on. And all of a sudden, I came to this little shoals, and standing in the middle of these rapids where I was about to cut through is a dang beaver. I'm not even kidding. And I was about to head-on collision with this beaver. True story. I have it on video, but it's so dark. GoPros are worthless in the dark, So you can barely make him out. He's just right there. We're both like froze. Like, what are we going to do? He dove and swam off, and I was like, oh my, it was crazy. But anyways, back to what we're talking about. Having daylight, plenty of daylight. So now I'm switching to I'm looking for 5 to 6, 7 mile floats now.
Yeah. And
I usually pace myself. I try to cover a mile per hour. That's kind of my fishing, ratio. One of the best things for river fishing is you probably are well aware of Garmin's. You probably did it on your Appalachian, trail hike, having a little Garmin where it keeps up the mileage for you and your pace and stuff.
Okay.
I use a Garmin Itchn2Fish 10 and I just put it on a ram mount right there on my kayak and it keeps me on pace. Okay, I've done mile. It's taken me about, so long to cover that mile. So that's really important for me during this time of year, especially. But, after that, I'm looking for rivers with a lot of shoals, a lot of rapids and stuff because those smallies love those areas. Now here in Arkansas, we have 4 regions of the state. We have the Delta where you're not going to get any smallmouth. Then we have the mountains. We're in the Ozarks, the foothills and stuff. So usually I'm gravitating to the foothills and trying to chase those smallmouth. So I'm looking for it. We're blessed in Arkansas with the Buffalo National River, the first river that was national, where they, set aside, this is a designated national river. We can't dam it up. So, we have that going for us with plenty of smallmouth fisheries around here. But so I'm just
looking at give up your honey hole. What's going on?
Yeah, right. Well, the Buffalo National River is 124 miles. So good luck.
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah.
That's 12-day trip. So
yes, yeah.
Everyone's taking notes. Like, okay, got it. Buffalo. Yeah. Smallmouth.
A hint though, the lower you go in the river, the better the fishing. I'll just leave it at that. But
what do you mean the lower you go? Like the lower down
the
river, or
the river, the lower.
Oh, the lower half of the river.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
you
the upper half. I just blew out my spot.
You're gonna see 50,000 kayakers, no more smallmouth.
Anyways, I've been rambling, but
no, you're not rambling. This is great. So yeah, so tell me top three lures.
Okay.
For river fishing.
My favorites are this time of year.
Oh, well, come on now. This time of year favorites.
Okay, this time of year.
Yeah, let's do both.
If I could have my way all year round, number one, whopper plopper or some type of prop bait on top, the Chopo, just whatever. And then second bait would be swim bait. I'll do a crankbait, kind of depends on the depth, I'll kind of go either or there. But that'd be number two. I've caught so many nice fish on a gizzard shad. Write this down. Crankbait, KVD, 1.5. Okay.
Oh yeah, we've all seen them, right?
Yes, yeah. And then and we have a lot of clear water streams here, so I try to keep everything natural looking, nothing too bright and bold. Unless I did a video a long time ago to kind of prove a point about reaction strikes. Yeah. I did a custom Spider-Man whopper plopper, where I just threw a blue and red. It was a blue and red whopper plopper.
This river to see?
Yes.
They made a Spider-Man, or you like painted the thing?
No, I had a guy paint it for me and put the whole eyes and everything on it. And
why don't I have a picture of this right now?
And I told everybody, like, color does not matter when it comes to topwater. They're just totally keen on that commotion and they're hitting it. So, so color on the whopper plopper doesn't matter to me, But and then for something dragging, it'd either be Jigs or a Ned Rig. I mean, the Ned Rig, I know a lot of people give it a bunch of crud. It's just one of those baits.
I love Ned Rig.
Yes, the Ned Rig. I mean, it's a little 3-inch little bait, but man, you catch biggins on it all year round. Winter, it don't matter. If you're not getting a bite all day and you're like, I'm gonna have to tie one on, that's the bait I would tie on just to get one bite. So
I love Ned Rig. I usually use Z-Man or the Ocho. Which are my go-tos just for river, non-river. Right. They just eat it up. I don't know. Why does it get so much? Why does it get so much crap? I don't know. I mean, I pick up some dinks with it, but I've also caught 5-pounders.
My PB came off of a Nico, Ned Rig. So
weighted Ned Rig essentially.
Yeah. So crazy. But yeah, I'm always got one on in the kayak with me all the time. So
all right. So my favorite for when I go river fishing, obviously, if I'm waiting around, I take the time to go find crawdads.
Yes.
So those things just
you do a lot of live bait, don't you?
Well, I don't do a lot of bait when I go on like lakes and rivers. It's all artificials. But when I go smallies and the rivers of Pennsylvania, see, I'm narrowing down to Pennsylvania. I'm not giving away the honey hole here.
Right.
I can't believe you did it. Yeah, the state of Pennsylvania. Good luck. Somewhere in there, I go fishing.
Right there.
Smallies. And so it's either that, and then my second, I use whopper ploppers. I use a Terminator, but like I believe it doesn't matter. That thing's flopping around. All those things at the bottom of it.
Right.
And then here, let's go over here because some of these I also do. Let me see. I also have a Helgramite. I use those. I use a jig. So I use one of those itsy bitsy jigs with a Z-Man crawls, and a lot of times they'll smash on that. And then where I'm at, man, I believe it or not, I catch a ton on the wacky worm.
Yeah,
they'll hit that usually with a red flack, green pumpkin, red flack. They'll smash that. But if I cannot get a bite out of all that stuff, I use the Crawdad Bomber.
Oh, okay.
And man, that
little
picks
crankbait.
up. Yeah, this crankbaits. I just run along the bottom and just knock it into as many things as I possibly can. And that's how I caught my first ever double fish one cast.
Nice.
Was on that. So it was one of my shorts that I did. Don't get me all riled up about shorts. Here we got Keith. Ned Rig is the deal.
That's right, Keith.
Z-Man, Mini Max, spinnerbait.
Yeah.
Do you use spinnerbait? I think you do. I saw a video.
I do.
Pulling
I've caught some big ones on a spinnerbait, like a 3/8 in small creeks. I mean, they chase those smallmouth. They're just aggressive, and they chase those big old spinnerbaits. So, one of my favorite colors is called the Sexy Moose. No, Mouse. Sorry, Sexy Mouse. And it's like a silver shad, with chartreuse line in there. Man, it's good for Clearwater streams. So, money. Write that down.
This is your man here. Try the Nico Crawl.
Yeah.
Mud color.
That's a good natural color. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have, here we go. Leather stocking angler. Wacky Rig, my man. Ned Rig, my man. Those are my go-tos.
You got to have a Ned Rig on all
Ned Rig and Wacky Rig.
Yeah.
It's almost like my search bait. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And paddle tail swim baits. I haven't had a whole lot on those. You know, real quick, this whole show, right? Is I'm not trying to position myself as an expert. Like I know some things.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't know a whole heck of a lot. So that's the idea of Kayak Fishing Obsessed, is to get people who actually are out there doing things that I'm not familiar with. And so just so everyone knows, that's what this is all about. And if I'll share some things I know, and if I don't know, well, here it goes.
Hopefully they'll let us know in the comments.
Tyler says you killed on the spinnerbait. That's nice.
Yeah, he was the one I went to Tennessee and did a camping trip with, and I caught almost a 3-pounder on a spinnerbait right there. So I love the spinnerbait, for creeks for sure.
Right. Here's a new one. Texas Rig Senkos.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with old Senko.
All right. Oh, here we go. Left field mouse.
Yes.
I did mouse legit.
I used a mouse not too long ago, actually, in one of my earlier videos, and it had some great action. It wasn't a topwater. It was kind of a waking bait more than anything. Yep. Man, it got some fish in the boat. It's pretty exciting. So.
I was recently watching the live show that Burley Fishing does, and they had Chad Hoover on, and Chad was talking about this rat lure that he loves to use. I was like, what the rat lure away? He's telling the story like he sees these farmers out in the field, and he goes up to him like, hey, can you wait to cut this part of the field until like the day I can fish, because it pushes all these mice across this little stream that I fish, and I want to throw this rat lure. And I was like, you're crazy. I love it. And they agreed to it, which is also crazy.
I know they use a lot of rat lures for pike fishing for sure. So
okay. Let's kind of break out a bit. Well, what's your PB? I'm curious for River Smallies. And if you were on and watching, what is your PB? Because I asked that question earlier in the show. However, I don't think people are on yet. So let me know what your PB for River Smallie was. But Eric, what you got?
Well, here in Arkansas, I think they're out there, but we don't have the giants like y'all do up in the north, or Tennessee's got some big ones too. But, I caught a 3-pound smallie, and it was like a butterball. It was like maybe 17 inches, but it was just so thick. And I caught him on Nico. I was excited, because the ones that was kind of early in my fishing, YouTube adventure there. And the majority of the ones I was catching at that time was like 10, 12 inches. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is a giant, and I put it on the scale. So that is my PB. Still trying to break that one. Hopefully I can get up there north, the Lake Michigan, they putting out 7, 8s all the time and stuff like that. But I'm fishing a lot of shallow creeks. So a 3-pounder, a 2.5 even, we consider a nice one, a lot of these streams in Arkansas. So yeah. What about yours?
Pennsylvania. You know what? I'm not sure about my River Smallie PB.
You forgot a scale that day, didn't you?
Yeah. So I mean, it was a Mondo.
Huge.
My buddy I know pulled 4s. Yeah, which is pretty good.
That is good.
For that area of Pennsylvania. So I don't know. Awesome. We'll see. So what kayak do you have now? Do you still have this Vapor? I've seen videos like you keep on upgrading as you go.
I go through kayaks like I do shoes, man. I change them out once a year. Like seriously, like I'm on number 12 now.
Are you kidding me?
No.
12 in 6 years?
Yes.
Do you have a sponsor that we don't know about? What's going on?
No, not yet. Hopefully.
No, come on now.
No, anyways. But the one I'm currently on is Crescent. It's a Crescent Shoaly. Just came out just this year, and I love it. I had a Crescent light tackle. I told you about the one I was afraid to break wind on. I was going to capsize. And then, I've had all different, the most expensive one I had was the pedal drive, and it's about $3,000. And I loved it. But like you said, you can't get in these small, shallow creeks. And so I kind of swapped to, I don't do a lot of lake fishing. If there's a boat next to me, I'm like, I feel out of place. I want to be in the backwoods somewhere where there's no boats can get to it. And I'm just finding these awesome secluded holes. So I've kind of swapped from pedal drives to just more paddling, kayaks. And I'm thinking about I saw some videos of yours recently with that pedal drive. I'm like, oh, that hands-free would be nice right now, because my shoulders are just constantly wore out because it's getting real windy outside now, and just fighting that wind and I went crappie fishing, trying to jig a crappie lure, paddle and keep straight on that big lake. I'm done. I'm getting a pedal drive for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I have both. I have oh my gosh, I found a kayak in the Ohio River tributary. All right, it was like half under the water, and so I'm in my Native Slayer Propel 10, which I fish out of now, which mostly all my videos are in. And I find this kayak. It is what is that? Aruba 10. What is that? Sun Dolphin Aruba 10, bright orange. So I call the police, right? Be like, hey, I found this. I didn't want you to get in trouble, right?
Right.
So they said, hey, if no one calls for this thing, then it's yours. And a year went by. I'm like, oh, it's go time. So this is like, it's my
you waited
buddy.
long
I got a buddy kayak.
Yeah.
But this thing's not comfortable at all. I went fishing down in southern Ohio, and man,
your butt goes numb pretty
my
quickly.
buddy, I can't believe we fished in it for 3 days straight.
I don't even think is it a sit-in? I don't
think I can sit in, but hard plastic, hot, and just you can't stand up or anything. Oh,
makes you appreciate the nicer ones for sure.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. We got some answers here. Keith, 3-pounder, Smalley. Not Wade. What do you mean, Keith? It's not Wade. It's at least 5 or 6.
Easily.
Hold
it close to that camera.
Nothing makes a fish larger than the one that got away. All right, what else we got here? We got Richard coming in, William fishing, bass fishing for 3 months, and my highest is 2 pounds LMB. Dude, nice.
That's awesome for 3 months, man.
Yeah, come on.
I didn't get that until after 3 years.
I know. I've only caught 35 to 40. Only caught 35 to 40?
I think he's flexing a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
That's awesome, dude, man.
Hey, he's humble. He's humble. He's I got a lot to learn. I like it. I
do too.
Your buddy, 16 to 18. Oh, I got a 20-inch.
Stud.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
I got a 20-inch the other day, that largemouth I caught, that almost a 5-pounder. Now, my largemouth PB is 7. I got that on a lake. Lake fishing, you're going to catch bigger quality bass, but where's the adventure? You got the wind blowing you around, but I like the rapids, dodging rocks. You got strainers. You got life-threatening stuff all the time coming at you, It's very thrilling.
I'm like risk adverse. Like, show me that pond.
Yeah.
And show me that you're like, hey, I want to go down the river and meet a beaver in the middle of the night and see what happens.
Right. It's super exciting.
Funny, I got a thing here. Lost in Tackle said Itchn needs to see the Kydex video. So Lost
is that your personal video?
That was a video. Yeah, I did that one about the Kydex. I'm not sure why he's saying that. Let me know, Lost. But he's like, hey, you guys are 2 of my favorites on YouTube. So
appreciate you, Lost.
Yeah. So thank you, Lost, for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Mark caught my PB this year at Manistee River. You guys are giving up the honey holes. Man. I like it. 4.5 pounds.
Send us the coordinates. I don't believe you.
That's a beast. That's a beast. Also, hey, if you guys are enjoying this, please help me out. Hit that like button. It'll help this get out there. Help me out a little bit. And the comments are coming in. They're hot.
So how many kayaks have you owned?
You know what? My
wife's watching
upstairs. I have 2. One's a buddy kayak. It's kind of one of those things. It's a kind of a piece of garbage. And then I have my Native Slayer L10, which I'm kind of bummed out because just this past week got a crack.
Oh no!
Right in the back part of where the seat hits the plastic.
On top.
And I just did a video on how to fix it, but it was in the most inopportune place.
Oh man!
Ever. So I did a bunch of research. That video is coming out in a few weeks. So if you're interested in that, hit the sub and you'll get that. But it's irritating that you have a kayak that costs thousands of dollars new, right?
Yeah.
And then it cracks. Now, if you understand how a kayak is roto-molded, essentially what they do is they put a bunch of plastic inside of a female form, put it in the oven, kind of move this thing around, shake it, agitate it, and then they let it cool. And that's kind of the roto-molded polyethylene. And but in that process, if it's not turned a certain way or agitated correctly, you're going to get fin spots in your plastic.
That
And because
plastic
of
might
that,
not be balanced out. It might be thinner in some areas. Yeah.
right. And I've seen guys have videos like, hey, it's supposed to do it, and they're like pushing on their new kayak, and you can almost see through the plastic because it wasn't rotomolded correctly.
Yeah.
But oh well.
The shoalie was kind of like that too. A lot of people are complaining about the shoalie right there behind the bow. It was really kind of spongy there. But Crescent came out and said, you know, it's supposed to be like that. So I have had no issues with it.
Oh, but, Crescent came out and said that, huh?
So, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Normal if there's a bin there. I mean, it's better for drafting. I've heard something. I don't know.
Oh, 6 pound. Woo! Now that's
a
fight.
Big one.
That is a fight.
Stud.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow. All right. I got another question for you. I'm going to do a little something different here. I'm going to have a lightning round for you.
Okay.
All right. I got 5 questions. I want you to answer with 1-word answers really fast. You ready to go?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Here we go. Confidence lure.
Ned Rig.
Ned Rig. All right. We already answered this one. What kayak do you have? 16 is the answer.
Shoulder.
152 is the answer. Yeah. How many times a week do you get to fit?
Right now, once. I'm off on Fridays with my job. I work 14.
It's 1-word answers. What's going on?
Oh, my bad. Explanation.
We'll circle back.
Sorry.
Do you fish in the rain?
I do.
On purpose?
Yes.
All right. And favorite snack while kayak fishing?
Beef jerky. Got to have those beef snacks.
Oh, I love it. All right, let's go back to the number 3. How many times a week do you fish? Elaborate a bit.
Yeah.
Now, you got kids. Is that
right.
like
they got, they're at this age now where they got 12 things going on at the same time. You have to, one parent's here, one parent's there, and just, so, but Fridays, they're in school. I'm off Fridays, and that's my time to shine. Rain or shine, I'm out there doing something. So,
who's off Fridays? Come on.
I know there's nobody out there on the water except for a bunch of senior citizens. Will they not ever work? Like, what's the deal here? Why can't I have the lake to myself?
It's our dream, really, is to be those guys someday. Yeah. So what is it that you do for a living?
I drive a truck currently. So I'm just a truck driver, just a normal delivery route and all that. So nice. I'd run my route and I'm done, and then that's it. So
now I recently saw a photo of how in the world did you get your wife to go fishing with you?
Well, she's a big kayaker, so we both kind of got in kayaking together, but I kind of started going down this fishing thing, and she's not a big fisherman. I don't know if y'all saw the video recently where we went on the Buffalo River, did an overnight trip. I do a lot of camping trips, and she caught this nice 14-inch smallmouth on a swim bait, a paddle tail swim bait. I noticed someone mentioned that in the comments. That's her favorite. And great bait. I put her on a Kayak swim bait, and she caught this nice one. And, she didn't know what to do with it. And she kept trying to grab it. It was spinning on her line. I'm like, just pinch it, put your finger down and pinch it. She never would. So I went over there to help her. But yeah, so she's been a kayaker for a while, but I'm trying to get her into that fishing, mainly selfish reasons, so I can fish more. Most of the time she's down river a half a mile from me because I'm so slow dragging bait. She's like, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm gone. I'm like, oh. Got to get her fishing more. So that's the goal.
Do your boys fish with you?
I just took him out last week. He's 5.
All right.
So we've done some pond hopping, and all that. But I just took him on his first kayaking trip. And he got on his first kayak bass. He was pretty stoked. We're just using like a little crappie magnet on a bobber. I was surprised. I thought it was like green sunfish, and it was like a little 10-inch bass, and he was like just giggling all sorts. So it's great men bonding time.
Oh yeah. You never forget your first fish, and it's going to be with his dad, kayak fishing.
Right.
And you got that picture and forever.
And then
the roots of his YouTube channel will be back to that moment last week.
Yeah. But hopefully I didn't ruin it, because he also saw the ugly side of kayak fishing. The wind started blowing 30. Dude, and we were like just
30
circling. Yes, it was 20, but man, it
doesn't matter. Past 15 is ridiculous.
We're on this creek, and it was just blowing us all over. Like, he's like, Dad, can we go? I'm exhausted. Like, I'm doing all the paddling. Why are you so tired? But man, so he saw the best and the worst in that one trip. So hopefully there was more pros and cons for sure.
All right.
I got any children?
Yeah, I do. I got a 6, almost 7, basically 7 and 5-year-old. And check this out. So we had a church fishing tournament that I put together.
Oh, awesome.
Probably like, I don't know, 40 or 50 people show up, and
Oh, that's a good turnout.
it's August. Yeah, it's fun. And so we had 5 different categories, like biggest fish, smallest fish, shortest fish, and all kinds of these different categories. And by the end of that 2-hour time period, my oldest had won 3 of the 5 categories. And then
Wow.
my other youngest won another category.
Man, there's some rip lippers, dude.
They were
That's
going
awesome.
crazy. And it all came down to, check this out. They were just catching bluegill after bluegill because I hooked them up with the right size, small, like size 1 Aberdeen hook.
Yeah.
With a little piece of worm on it. I was walking up and down. Everyone was using these huge worms, like getting these
Right.
bites. Just can't set the hook.
Yeah.
So it was
Finesse is the
proud
way to go. That's
proud
awesome.
moment for me. Here, I got a
That's
question
awesome.
for you. This comes in from Brian Snyder, 62 years old. Wants some advice on getting a kayak, and there's no better pro out there than someone who's gone through 16.
Yes. I'll tell you one thing,
years.
Mr. Brian, don't go below 30 inches on the width. Okay. So when it comes to a stable kayak, you want to look at length and width. Now, you don't want to go too wide. I know there's those Diablos out there. They're like, it's like a pontoon out there. And those things are a pain to paddle. Like, you're not going to cover water. You know, that's when they start putting trolling motors on kayaks. And to me, you know, that's kind of losing the side of kayaking for me anyway. So that's a whole nother story. But what I would look into is, like, for you, I would look at like a 12-foot boat that's 34 inches wide. To me, that's been like the best combination, because with the 12-foot, a longer boat, or even 11 and a half, it's going to track better. It's going to be more stable because you're adding more plastic to the water. And then 34 inches seem to be my sweet spot. You know, I am 6 foot, 240. I'm not a small guy. And so I stand comfortably on a 34-inch boat. And, you know, my shoalie, it's 11 and a half, 34 inches wide, stand on it. A light tackle is 12 foot, 34 inches wide. I stood and bow fished off of it. I fly fished off of it. So those are very stable platforms. You don't have to go with that brand, but I'm just the length and the width. I would look at 11 and a half to 12 foot long, 34 inches wide is usually my favorite type of size boat anyways. So,
yeah.
And so I hope that helps you out.
No, that's solid. I wouldn't be able to answer that. And like you did, I actually have a video on one. If you end up buying a used, Brian, if you end up buying a used fishing kayak,
that's the way to go a lot of times.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I got my Native Slayer, sorry, for fraction during the winter. The guys are just trying to offload these things.
Right.
So that was years ago.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I have a video on what to look out for whenever you do buy a used fishing kayak. So search that in my on my YouTube channel. You'll find that.
Yeah.
And also, there's another video on there, kind of the questions you should ask yourself before buying a fishing kayak. And so,
those are great questions. Yeah.
So there's like, where are you going to fish? You know,
right. Types of water,
all kinds of things. Yeah. You should take consideration. So we just basically data dumped you, Brian. Sorry for that. Hey, look at that, my man. Thank you.
And you saying that, it does matter the right kayak. You know, I didn't mention lake fishing or creek fishing. I just meant, you know, stability and as far as tracking and stuff goes. But I actually broke my shoulder on a kayaking adventure.
Who breaks a shoulder on a kayak?
Dude, you go hard or you go home, bro.
Tell me. You got to tell me the story.
Anyways, well, I was on my pedal drive, right? But I was hitting class 2 to 3 rapids that day. There's no reason why I should ever been on a pedal drive kayak in class 2 to 3 rapids, right? So, you know, but my kayak was promoted as paddle and pedal, right? It was like a hybrid. You're supposed to do both with. I learned quickly that was not the right kayak. So if anybody from Arkansas on here, I'm sure you've heard of the Mulberry River, okay? And I came to a river bend, a right hard turn in the river. We just went through some awesome rapids, you know, just coming over our heads, you know, just splashing in the face, bacteria in your mouth. You're like, oh, I got a cool eye, whatever. But we came to this one point and there was a sign on the side of the river. It said, warning, stay right. I'm like, this is my first time here. I didn't even know what, you know, I know what right means, but I don't know what they're warning us about. Like, what's going on? So I came up around this corner in the river bend and there's this huge boulder just right off the side of the river. And the river current was going right in the middle of this boulder. Okay. I was like, oh gosh. Now the right side, unfortunately, to me, it was like really shallow. So I tried to hug that right side as tight as I could. But unfortunately, with my big, huge pontoon kayak I was floating in, I could not turn and paddle it fast enough to pull away from that rock where the river was pulling me into it.
Right.
And I slammed up against this rock. So there I was sitting there. I'm like, what am I going to do now? You know? So what I did was I couldn't paddle because I was up against this boulder. So
and you're pinned.
I'm pinned. So I just put my arm, mistake number one. I used my arm, my extremity to kind of slide down the rock, kind of push, you know, and get to the edge of this boulder where all the river water was going. Okay. And so I'm trying to get my hands in the current. So once I got my nose of my kayak, that huge pontoon boat I was fishing off of, on the edge of that rock, all this river water was going over the top of my nose and it capsized me. I was trying to prevent that. So I grabbed that rock as tight as I could. And I pinned it, you know, and Mother Nature just right across my face. It blew my shoulder out of socket. I tore my labrum. I broke my glenoid, the cup where your shoulder goes into.
You're making stuff up right now. You can say anything.
There's a video.
We wouldn't even know.
Okay.
You got a video of this?
Yeah. I lost my front camera, so missed some of it, but it kind of catches up on the end, some stories and stuff. But dude, it was bad. So you'll notice in my YouTube videos that like in my earlier years, like 4 months of my videos were just me in the sling doing like, you know, some videos you've been doing like top 10 must-haves. Dude, I couldn't fish. I was like, I still want to post, you know, I was like,
I'll post up. People.
I got to keep it going.
The world needs to know.
Yes, this is vital information. Ned Rig, #1. I mean, this is like stuff people weren't hearing, you know? So, man, I just try to keep the channel going. But there was a time where I didn't fish at all. You know, I was just like, fish finder, best for beginners, stuff like that. And that was all those videos was me in that sling after that accident. Dude, luckily I had my PFD on. I'm a big believer in PFDs after that incident. Because if I didn't have that on, whoever's tried to swim with one arm, I mean, you spin in circles. It's not very efficient. And that, you know, it helped me float down to safety and get to my kayak and stuff. That was kind of a highlight reel, but dude, it was scary. But we still had 2.5 miles on this rocky river before we got to the takeout point. So luckily, you know, lesson number 2, have someone with you on moving water. My wife was with me that day.
You basically took her on class 2 and 3s?
Yeah.
You guys have a wheel set up and
power of attorney
and all that stuff?
Yeah.
You guys good? All
right, I don't think we had kids at that moment. I don't know. We were trying to skydive too, but it didn't work out before we had some kids. But whatever, that's a long story. But anyways, but luckily my kayak turned into a floating gurney and we had some rope. We tied them, you know, up with the handles and she just dragged my big old butt downstream. Luckily she was there and she was a trooper. So
here, you get the thug life. Okay, there we go.
Anyways,
that was my highlight was when I broke my arm. And
yes,
I did the video. So now you mentioned the video 10. Oh my goodness, I was looking at this. 10 must-haves for kayak fishing.
Yeah.
It's like 500,000 views. And what happened?
It was like me, super cringy. Like, you know, I was using my iPhone to record the whole thing. I was in like a, you know, long sleeve, you know, I don't know what kind of shirt I was wearing, just real on the front porch, you know, just really, I mean, the, you know, YouTube algorithm, dude, I don't know, man. I can't figure it out, but you've got to figure it out. Like I'm looking back at you and your shorts and all that. I know you didn't want to get on that, but man, it seems like you got a lot of growth here. Like, I mean, just in the last year, it seems like you boomed. I don't know your numbers, you know, behind scenes, but I mean, you got 11,000 subs. I'm like, man, dude, he's doing something right. He's got some great content out there and answering questions that need to be answered. So kudos to you.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a wild ride. So I started my YouTube channel back in January of 2020. I was out of 2021. I was out of work for about 10 months and I was just losing my mind. And so the origin story of why I created, I asked you, but why I created it was my father-in-law recently just passed from an unexpected heart attack. And I was like, I really love fishing. I want to be able to teach my daughters someday. But when they want to learn, I might not be around, to teach them. Well, what if they have sons and they want to learn? Well, I might not be around to teach them. So I'll start a YouTube channel and they'll live on in perpetuity, right? So I'm doing this, and then my wife's a saint. But we start to get into like conversations about how much I'm spending.
on
on fishing gear.
We try to avoid that.
Yeah, right. And so then it went from, okay, if I could just monetize my channel and, get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, and then it will kind of pay for itself.
Pay for the hobby. Yeah.
Pay for the hobby, right? That was the goal. And we've exceeded
Right.
that. And we're
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, now this could be 4 or 5 years. This could be a full-time gig.
Right.
Potentially.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the evolution of my story of why I created
That's
but
awesome.
yeah, kind of crazy. Recently, last month, I did a test because YouTube Shorts, right? They're trying to compete with TikTok and Reels and all that stuff. And so they're pushing Shorts like mad in their last algorithm change. So I'm like, all right, I'll play the game, right? So I do 3 shorts a day for 30 days. So the baseline is I got a video on this coming out. I just scripted it a couple days ago, but from memory, last month, previous to the test, I had around 100,000 views.
Wow.
When I did 3 shorts a day for 30 days, at the end of the 30 days, I had 1.1 million views.
Wow. That is crazy, man.
Well, here's what's crazy. So my watch time the previous month was 8,900 hours.
Mm-hmm.
After 1.1 million, it was only 9,000 hours. I only jumped 100 hours.
Right.
And on 1 million views.
Right.
And this is what I also found, which I don't like at all, is it brought out the trolls.
Yes.
My goodness.
Dude.
Like I rarely get a comment on my long form, my regular videos, but man, all of that toxic garbage coming over from TikTok, I was like, please go back. This is
right. Yeah, that's one negative for sure.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan. So I got a video. I go out into the data. I believe in a well-rounded channel, so I'll do some shorts, but it's only going to be like 15 to 20% of what I do. 40% is going to be the regular videos because I really like creating those. I think they bring the most value. So
yeah.
But I don't want to end up doing, because everyone, people are going to hear that and be like, "Oh, you do what?" He got, I gained like 3,000 subscribers. But
dude, that's awesome. Yeah.
What type of subscriber are they? Is it someone who has 15-second attention span, and so when they hit my regular video, they kill it and tell YouTube this video sucks?
Right.
Anyways, hey, real quick, if you got a question for Itchn2Fish, throw up question, big words so I can see it, and throw it here. Oh, there we go. Tyler, what cameras are you guys liking? What do you use to shoot?
Well, currently I've got a Hero 8. That's my rear camera you see in the videos. Just because the audio is real good on the 8s and Plus. I've had different friends like Creek Fishing Adventures. He's got a big YouTube channel. He told me like the difference between the 9 and 8 and the 10 on the audio, it's all about the same. But here recently I had a warranty issue. My other 8, my front camera where I talk into it, show the, the money pick with the picture I'm holding and stuff of the fish. It just went out. Like it was like 4 months old. It just stopped coming on. So, and I think they goofed, but I didn't say nothing. That's not the Christian I should have done. So like, hey, you sent me the wrong. But he told me, anyways. But they sent me a Hero 9. I just got. So all my stuff is on 8. So I'm having to update the batteries and stuff. But I'm about to start using that 9 on the front camera. It's got the little screen. So it's great when you're trying to film yourself, if you're in focus, if you're in the middle of the screen, not off to the side or whatever. So I'm about to start using that 9 on my front shots, and I'm excited about that. But they sent me a 9 with my warranty claim, and I was like, sweet, that's awesome. So
nice.
The batteries are made different now with the 9s and greater. They're supposed to not overheat as bad, so there's some different perks about that. But other than that, I think they're all about the same. So.
I feel like all GoPros have these little quirks. Mine, when I try to plug in external battery, it doesn't want to like record until I push it like 4 times.
Yeah,
I think it's a 7 or 8 black.
Yeah, like, my 8 does that too. I'm like,
I was like, oh, it's maddening.
Brand new battery
randomly turns off.
Yes. So you're using like 8s?
Yeah, 8s. I mean, I don't have no warranty claims. I didn't buy them straight from GoPro. I got mine used off of, I think they were like $180.
Right.
A deal,
you saved a lot
years
of money.
ago. Yeah, right, you do. But you also take the risk, right?
Right.
Hey, look at this. John, my man. Don't usually do live. They turn into lectures, but this has been fun. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that. I really do. All right, we got another question here from One Kush One. Nope, sorry. Account 22. Number 1 lake, Smalley lure.
Number 1 lake, Smalley lure. Be a jig. I mean, you can cover some depth of water, be just like a jig crawling on the bottom that looks like a crawfish, for me. But here recently, I've started out with a brush hog, Texas rig and a brush hog kind of has that crawl appendages, appendages and stuff. So that's why I caught those two big ones on the last video. It was just a brush hog with this extra crazy, I don't know what had going on. It's just some extra stuff going on. But man, brush hogs are the way to go. The Texas rig or like a jig, on the bottom, some type of crawl creature bait. It's usually pretty good.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'd love to answer that
I know you like crawls.
I don't think I've ever caught a smallie out of a lake. Now, here's the thing. I got Lake St. Clair just a couple hours from me.
Oh,
which is some of the best smallie fishing on the planet.
Dude, yes. I see.
And I have a buddy who recently has a boat and a house on that lake. And he said, hey, next time you're up here, we'll go out and we'll catch these things.
Dude.
Come on now.
That'd be some great content, man. I'm looking forward to that trip.
Yeah. And I recently just saw a video from Georgia Bassmaster, and he traveled all the way from Georgia to fish Lake St. Clair. And he was just catching them right there on the shore. I was like, oh man, I've got to get there. It's so close to me. Like here, I got Lake Erie, huge smallies, never fish up there. And I got Lake St. Clair, kind of right next to it, huge smallies. I never fish that. So I don't know what am I thinking here. I don't know. Hey, 7 hook fishing. My 9 likes to overheat. So it sounds like they're just an overheat issue.
Right.
In general.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Oh, we got a question from John Robertson. Where do you want to be 3 to 5 years with your YouTube channels? Retire from traditional jobs, supplemental income, or keep it low key, make a few videos a month? Itchn, what you got?
Well, as far as I look at the big creators, right? And they're coming up with all these crazy things where they're buying these extravagant stuff, which they can. They built that channel up and all this. And it's hard to compete, with that. I can't go out and buy an inflatable house, kayak, and float downstream with it and do this awesome content. But, what I'm planning on doing the next few years is just occasionally posting something when I have a good trip, kind of share some things. Or like in my case, when I broke my shoulder, what did I learn or take away from this? What can you take from this and prevent that injury? But like wear your PFD, stuff like that. So really when I started out, it was more of like, trying to share some things with people and try safety and all that. But as far as years from now, I don't see, just with my schedule and everything going on, unless something crazy happens, you've got some great growth. Your growth has been awesome. So mine's just kind of been slowing down, so I'm just going to, post when I can, and just mainly just pay for the hobby. That's where I always kind of start out with you, like help supplement some of this money I'm spending on fishing gear, like a fish finder I just bought, $400, all this stuff adds up.
You had conversations with your wife as well? I
try to avoid that. But, I don't bring up the fact her purses she has to have for different seasons. But,
all right.
So she's not listening right now.
You got some ammo.
I think your wife's on, but I try to, I don't really come out and say it because I don't want to get cold slapped. We're Christians and all.
She's watching the replay.
She will punch me, blinking for help. But anyways, but yeah, so. I try to, mainly it's just a hobby and it's trying to help pay for the hobby because like golf, it's very expensive. The kayaks are expensive. So I just try to help offset those costs by sharing what I love to do. And if it works out, maybe I'll see some more growth from it. That'd be great. But as far as long-term, I don't see, where it's ever going to be a job for me or I'm quitting my other job per se right now anyways. So what about you?
You know what? As I say on the Appalachian Trail, hike your own hike, man. Right.
Right.
So
exactly.
You do. For me, I'm treating this almost as like a part-time job. So
yeah,
I'm up early in the morning after my kids to bed and my wife goes to bed. I'm up editing and doing this.
And you can tell that with your videos. You're putting a lot of time and effort into it and it shows, So the growth too. Yeah.
For me, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
I would love.
It might be. Absolutely.
It's not outside the realm of possibility, but YouTube changes so much, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But right now it is supplemental income, but income usually just covers fishing stuff. It's not crazy. And I think when people think, oh, you're a YouTuber, I should do a video on this sometime, like actually take you into my metrics and show you how much I actually don't really make.
Right. Yeah.
doing this. It's
Same
not.
here. Yeah. And you have
It's
those
not.
ups and downs. You got the slow months, which we're kind of in the slow months right
We
now.
are.
You know, we're not in the peak season, you know, during the summer and
Yep.
the spring. And so you kind of have that drop off, you know. And so someone commented about we're about off-brand GoPros.
Oh
Our
yeah.
problem with a lot of off-brand GoPros is the audio. The audio is the main thing. It's not the video quality. It's more the audio. It's hard. GoPro is, as far as a waterproof camera, it's one of the best out there for the audio. You know, the 5 is really good. Not the 5, I'm sorry. The 3s are really good, really cheap. But the problem is they're not waterproof, but the audio in them are the best. But if you get a splash of water in them, you're in trouble. It's done, you know. So the 5s, 6s are not that great, but when you get to the 8s, the audio's better. That's when it starts getting really good again. But there is a brand out there, I can't think of it. It starts with a K, and it's a great off-brand. Some of the big-time YouTubers right now are using it, the fishermen, and I can't remember. It's some type of foreign name, but it's a good one with the audio. But anyway, sorry, I just
Is it
saw
one of those
that.
circle cams, like a
I
cylinder
think
cam?
so. Yeah, I think so.
It's like a Tacticam or something like that.
Yeah,
I've seen some people using it.
but it's been good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to answer his question.
No, it's all good. This is we can do whatever we want. Like we're just having some fun here, talking kayak bass fishing here. Okay, so we're at 56:33.
Yeah.
Gonna shut this down in an hour. So we got one more question for you. I got one final question. We're gonna take one from the audience here. Let me see. Oh, here's one. One Kush one. What do you think of monster bass? Do you subscribe to any of those boxes, by the way?
In my early year, yes, my early years, I subscribed to, what was that called? I was trying to remember.
Lucky Tackle Box.
There's Lucky Tackle Box. There was a Mystery Tackle Box.
Mystery Tackle Box. Was it
I
like,
did,
if I were to like put them in line, like mystery, lucky, monster bass?
Right. They're all similar to me. Monster bass always had a good thing about giving you a little bit more for your money. Like the Lucky Tackle Box, when I first joined up, they gave you kind of sample bags, right? You get 2 worms for 1 bag, you know, and after you break off, or you're done with that. Yeah. So Monster Bass and Mystery Tackle Box actually gave you like a full bag, you know, per se. But and there's great brands. I say if you're a beginner and you're trying to learn different tactics and stuff like that, it's great. You know, I would do that. You will get your money's worth out of those boxes. But, you know, I got to a point where I was getting things like I would throw. You know, they were sending me something like they've used up north for pike. I'm like, I don't have that species here. Even though I signed up for bass, I wouldn't use that special, you know, lure in there. So it started getting to that. And I was getting more confident with the bait side. No, that worked. And I was like, why am I spending $25 a month on these baits that I may use? Or can I just use that $25 and buy the baits I know that are, you know, foolproof and they're my confidence baits? So that's when I started swapping over, when I learned more about what I needed to use. So
yep, I hear you. I have similar to me. I've done LTB. I never done Mystery Tackle Box.
Yeah,
pick one up at Walmart, I guess.
I
just assumed that was, you know,
it's all the same. Yeah,
yeah.
Same.
And then I did Monster Bass.
Yeah,
that was my favorite, by the way. I no affiliation.
Yeah, it's a great one. Yeah,
whatsoever. But for the value, right? And I think it like goes up from, you got 6 cents, you know, I got those bags. And there's one I've been like really eyeing. I need to keep my eye off of it. It's Fish Vault.
Yeah.
There's just like $200 a month, but you get like reels and fish finders and stupid stuff like that.
Right.
I need to, they've been retargeting me pretty hard recently.
I bet with your growth, they're like, man, we gotta get this guy on.
I need to stay away from that. It's like a mystery box there, but hey, we got 1 minute left. If you haven't done this yet, please help me out. Hit that like button. I got one more question for you, Eric, and it is this: who do you know that I should invite next?
I'll tell you what, something that he's a good Christian guy, and you know, he's got a good sized channel and he's got a big following, and that would be John Dalton, Kayak Fishing Adventures. And you know, he's just a good guy of the faith. He always shares devotions in his videos and stuff like that, and posts, you know, memory verses. And I know your background too, as far as being a Christian. It's always pretty strong, you know. And you know, he's got a different following. You said you do wade fishing, and a lot of his subscribers, that's what he does majority of the time. And so I can try to help y'all link up or whatever, but he don't ever say no to anybody. He's just a really nice, down-to-earth guy. I think he's a preacher's son, so he's just a really good guy.
Is he kayak? They gotta
He
have a
kayak
kayak.
fish. Yeah, he kayak fishes. He's kind of swapped from, he still does a lot of wade fishing, but now he's kind of doing both, kind of 50-50 now. So, and he's really getting into kayak tournaments and all that. So he'll have that different spin on things too. But he's just a great overall YouTuber, and he's had a lot of growth for sure, over 100,000 subscribers. So
Dang.
So yeah, he's really, really good. And I got his personal info I can share with you off screen.
Yeah.
I'll talk to him first. I won't just like, hey, I'm giving out your number. You know, I'll check with him. But he's great. He's actually started a live stream too, so he might even like want you on there. You know, talk about shorts. I don't think he does a lot of shorts, so he might need some info on that.
I'm game. I'm gonna be doing a whole lot less shorts. So for those of you irritated by all the shorts coming on your shelf, no,
Dude,
I'm not gonna be doing as many.
They're very informative. In 20 seconds,
some of
you learn
them,
a lot. Yeah. Some of them are just awesome catches where a fish is jumping out of the water, slow-mo. Yeah.
Slow-mo.
Like, oh, yeah.
I think it's great. And then I get a few comments like, where are you guys coming from? Go ban. I just ban you. If you can't talk like an adult and speak like an adult and comment like an adult, I don't need your toxicity.
Right. Exactly.
So here we go. Hey, John said Alex Rudd. All right.
He's
solid.
Awesome too, yeah.
Anybody else? Boston Tackle's like, hey, can we go longer? You know what? I'd love to. But it's next week. Here, let me tell you guys what we have next week. So I have a company near Ohio where I live called DeLong Lures. They've been in business since the 40s. So we're going to talk and really take a deep dive into what a company looks like. I got 3 owners coming on. They make some pretty unique looking lures, which
That's awesome.
One is called the Squirm. Another is called the Bass Witch. These things they're crazy, but they're catching bass. So we're going to hear a little bit of their story. Also got musky lures. So some of you guys, if you're into musky fishing, we're going to do that. I would love to go longer, but I want to keep it at an hour. So thank you, everybody. We're gonna sign this off. Eric, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate you and what you do, man. That's awesome.
This was a whole lot of fun. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. So
yeah.
This is Darren signing off. You guys have a great week. See you next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. All right. See ya. Bye.